Keep California cowgirls from vanishing.
Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show. Training our horses and miniature cows in ranch versatility. Penning Rusty and Suzie, our bull and heifer. Roping Rusty with Morgan horse Semi. Training Eve to drive cart. Training Eve to work over her haunches with a motor cow simulator. Training Eve to lay down. Training Eve to harness, pull a log. Training Semi to harness, pull a log on turf. Jumping at liberty to music, making our Morgan horses our partners. Training Eve on a cow roping simulator. Training on our driveway, which is covered by sand, so we have a straight track. Stepping over poles, jumping over crossbar jumps. Training in our trail obstacles area. Semi on the big steps. Morgan horse Sadie doing obstacles rainlessly. Semi drives a cart. Sadie pulls a log. Sadie learns to pull a cart. Miniature zebu heifer Suzie learns to drive a cart. Bull Rusty learns to pull a harrow.
This is part 2 of groundwork with Eve, using the long lining and lunging exercises that we started in part 1. Now we've been practicing some of the exercises that Eve had a little bit of trouble with. She was great on moving the hindquarters, not so nifty on moving the forequarters, and a little bit confused on the side pass, which required both forequarters and hindquarters. So to start part 2, we're going to interview Brianna, who's doing the work with Eve. She's going to tell us where Eve is as far as her training with repetition on these exercises, and today we're going to start the back exercise. And the reason Brianna is on Eve's back for this is I'm combining this groundwork exercise with something that I've seen on RFD TV concerning a very gentle way to teach back, a way that doesn't require even a bit or a spur. We're just going to be using body language coupled with groundwork exercises to get a back exercise lightly with Eve, one that uses her haunches. So Brianna, tell us to start this video how it's going with Eve's forequarter, over the forequarters, and side passing.
Well, turning her hind quarters is going really well. She's very astute now. She knows what the tapping on the ribs means, that she needs to get that hind end over. The only concern of mine is that she does try to move backwards most of the time. So I'm trying to get her to stop moving backwards on moving the hind quarters. Moving the forequarters, she's doing a lot better, a lot less confusion. She knows what she needs to do when I tap her on the shoulder now. It's just a matter of getting the hind end to stay put, which is difficult because as soon as I go to move the hind end now, she starts moving the hind end, so which we don't necessarily want her to do. And then on the side pass, she's still a little confused. I got her to do the side pass a couple of times, and I stopped and gave her a good pet, but then once I tried to start it up again later, she didn't she didn't quite understand. She thinks she wants to move the hind end even when I'm touching her shoulders, and so I'm trying to get her to move the front end with the hind end. That's the progress so far, and I think it's mostly just getting her to pick up the cues and pick up exactly what it is she needs to do.
Okay. All right, so that's a review of what we've done and what we did in part 1. Now part 2 starts with the back exercise. Now in order to back, you first want to stop. So let's say you're going forward with your horse and you want the horse to stop so that you can back. What I'd like you to do, Brianna, with just the halter on and in saddle, so to speak, in using the vaulting surcingle so that you have something to hang on to if there's a misunderstanding, just make a small circle with Eve. Let her know that you want her to go forward. Good? When you feel that she's about ready to stop, sit back, bring your feet slightly forward, and say ho.
Ho.
Right. We're going to wait until Eve wants to stop. At least that's the theory behind this technique. And then couple it with the feeling of having the rider sit on their pockets, having the legs slightly forward, and hearing the cue ho. Let's try that again. Look where you're going. When you feel that she's about to stop, help her to understand what the cues will be.
Ho.
Good. And you're sitting real deep in your pockets, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's something that we're going to couple with this groundwork exercise. So Brianna's going to get off now, and I'm going to read from the book, and we're going to learn what we're supposed to do from the ground. Okay, from the ground, assuming that the horse has stopped, here's what you're supposed to do to teach the back. Stop the horse if it's not already stopped. Turn around and face the front of the shoulder. When working from the near side, change the lead rope to your left hand. Okay? Hold the whip in your right hand, pointing backward. Place the butt end of the whip on the point of the horse's left shoulder. Apply alternate pressure and release to the shoulder point and say back. Spelled B-A-A-A-A-C-K. Let's try it.
Back. Back. Back.
A little harder.
Back.
Maybe make it a little shorter, your lead line. Okay, not too short, not right under the chin, but there you go.
Back. Back.
Now Eve already knows the back
Back.
from the training she's had, but so we're going to couple it with cues that we've used in the past, like a visual block.
Back. Back.
Okay, eventually we want a straight back. Okay, but let's see what's the next instruction. The pressure on the shoulder point elicits a reflex action, a natural reaction the horse has when she feels pressure on her shoulder. It is not something you have to teach them. Okay, step B. If you try to use halter pressure to teach a horse to back, it usually causes him to raise his head and lower his back, which we don't want. That is the reflex action to backward pressure on the front of the horse's head. After a horse has learned to back, when you use shoulder point pressure, however, you can make an association with halter pressure and use it as a cue that signals the horse to back. Next, when backing from the halter, if the horse's hindquarters start to swing off the path, which we just saw happen, straighten the horse's body with a slight adjustment of head position with the lead rope. Next, if the hindquarters start moving off to the right, move the head slightly to the right to align the forehand and hindquarters. You can also point to or touch the shoulder. If the hindquarters swing left, move the head to the left. Okay, let's try it again before we go on and see if any of these clues help to solve any problems that might occur. We want a straight back.
Back. Back.
Okay, we're trying not to use the halter. There, 2 steps, good. Good, then we rub off the pressure like dentistry says. We erase the pressure, and ever so slight, the right answer removes the pressure, and that's how the horse is going to learn. Back a horse only a few strides at a time. Be sure the head stays low and the back level or rounded. If the horse raises the head or hollows the back, the horse will likely lock up. If this happens, we need to do some review of other exercises in this book. The back is a 2-beat diagonal gait with the left front and the right hind moving together, picking up, moving back, and landing. The right front and left hind work in unison. Okay, let's try it again, and then I'll read the last couple paragraphs, and we'll be practicing and showing you our progress.
Back. Back.
Good, good.
Back. Back.
Very nice. Next time, after I read the next couple paragraphs, let's try it from the other side,
Okay.
and then we'll quit. To show a horse what you want, you can lead him into an alleyway that the horse must back out of. The alley can be made of railroad ties. It can be a trailer parked next to a barn. It can be a veterinary stock or a row of straw or hay bales. It is best if you lead the horse in, and the only way out is to back. Backing a horse along the rail of an arena can also be helpful to teach the horse to back straight. Be sure to perform backing from the offside as well. That's what we're going to do now. Everything gets reversed. Lead line in the right hand, butt of the stick in the left.
Back. 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 Back.
See the visual block? Eve is seeing the right hand come up and the finger pointing to a backward motion, and erase the cue. One more time, and that's all we'll do for today. And next time, or the time thereafter, whenever we feel we have the handle from the ground, we'll also get up on the back and do it with the vaulting surcingle on and the halter on, which means we're not using bit pressure. We're not using spur pressure. We are simply using body language to tell our horse with our verbal cues that we want a nice, straight, light back. Another exercise in 101 lunging and long lining exercises. We're going to follow up on what we did in our pasture lesson last time. We're doing exercise 17, stop, look, and listen. From the back of Eve, we waited for Eve to stop, and then we brought our legs forward and said, okay, ho. And then we're going to do that over and over and over again in the same place wherever we're working. We're going to do that again today, but we're also going to review the back exercise. And we have created a corridor here in our arena with a jump and some rails. We've created a corridor so that we can ask Eve to back through that approximately 8-foot corridor and help her to do it straight. So we're doing both today. We're going to review the back, and then we're going to do the stop, look, and listen. And when we're ready to do the stop, look, and listen, we are going to have Brianna explain it, because she read this page and she has in her mind the logic behind it, and we have collectively decided what cues we're going to use to get Eve to stop, look, and listen. Okay, Brianna, why don't you first try to back her through our corridor. So you can walk through and then back up. Again, these are exercises to help you to work with your horse from the ground. Oh. We can make the corridor more narrow, but for this first time of using a corridor, I wanted to make it
Back.
at least
Back.
8 foot.
Back. 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 Back.
Remember,
Back.
you do the back,
Back.
B-A-A-A-C-K, loud.
Back. Back.
See, we're asking more of Eve
Back.
today. And if she does happen to touch that vinyl platform
Back.
for the
Back.
standard that holds the rails, I think
Back.
she'll say, oh, wait a minute, I better straighten out.
Back.
But look, it looks like she's going straight.
Back.
And remember to try to keep that eyeball looking at you, keep her head straight.
Back. 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 Back.
We're going to want to get more speed with this, but you're
Back.
seeing what it's like
Back.
when you first teach this exercise,
Back.
and you're seeing what we need to work on. Okay, now, Brianna, you can back her another step or two, turn her around, and come and
Back.
tell us what we're going to try to do according to exercise 17 instructions for stop, look, and listen.
Well, I'm not quite sure whether it doesn't say to have a halter on the horse when we're doing the stop, but I think it's a good idea to have the halter on just in case for at least the first few tries. And what we're going to do is just have her go in a circle and then and have the crop or whip in your hand to make her go around, and then the objective would be to be able to bring the whip down behind you and put out your arm as kind of a stop signal, and then once she stops on her own, you say ho and give the signal, whatever it is. I guess we're going to put the crop out to the side, so as it like a foot, so that when we're in saddle, she gets that signal.
Okay, let's try it.
Okay. Ho. Huh? Ho. So I guess that's the general idea.
You didn't put your crop out.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to get the hang of that, because it says in there to keep this arm down, whichever arm is not holding on to the, or to keep one of your arms down at all times or something. So I think it's also trying to get your own horse's reactions to everything out, and you can't necessarily just follow the book step by step to begin with. So, you know, I haven't tried this yet, so we're kind of just experimenting right now.
Let's
This
go
is
the other
very
direction.
first try.
This time when you say ho, though, let's try it with the idea of inner peripheral vision. Horses and cows have great peripheral vision. We want her to see something near her shoulder. And if Brianna is in saddle or on her back, it will be the tip of her foot, because when she says ho, she'll bring her feet, her legs forward. Are you waiting for her to stop on her own?
Yeah, ho. Ho.
Good. All right. Now, we're going to stop the camera for a minute. Brianna's going to get on her back. We'll do the same thing from her back, but I'll be standing at the lead line. Now, Brianna's going to be the passenger. I'm going to, from the ground, with this ground exercise number 17, ask for Eve to stop, look, and listen. And at the same time that I bring up my crop near her shoulder, Brianna's going to bring up her foot. So what we're going to do now is ask Eve to go in a small circle. Notice when she's doing what I want, I put my tools down. I stop my cues because I just want her to continue to walk in a small circle until she chooses to stop. Woo! And she looked at me, and her ears came towards me. And that's what we've got to do with this exercise. Over and over and over again. Spiral in, spiral out, long line exercise. We're not in the arena right now. We're just doing it out here in the open space. We've got long lines that are about 22 foot long. They're just ropes that I put some scissor snaps on. We've got a single on, we've got a breast collar on, and on Eve's nose we have a side pull. It's like a cavesson for long lining. It's got a leather braided rope over her nose. It is an inexpensive side pull, just a nylon headstall. Now we're going to show you what long lining in a spiral is all about. We're only doing it at a walk. You of course want to practice it in the other gaits as well. Watch what we do to start a lunge with the long line in a larger circle and then have her spiral in. And if all goes well, then I'll ask her to spiral out. And the way I'm doing that is by using the near and far long line to help her understand at her head what I'm requesting. If she comes in too much with her shoulders, I will use my left long line to ask her to go out again. Now I don't want her to go out of the circle though, so it's fine tuning. And we're going to show you how it works today briefly. Step up, Eve. Good girl. We're going to use the log pull and cart language, which is step up for forward motion, G for right, and paw for left. I try to keep as light a touch as I can on my long lines. Now, as she comes around again, I'm going to spiral in. If she comes in too fast with her shoulder, I'll pull a little bit with my left long line until I straighten her out and get her back on the circumference of the smaller radius circle. Step up. Good girl. Very nice. A little bit of left just now. I want her to go out though, so I'm just using a wiggle at her shoulder. As I come around, I'll spiral in even more. If I need to, I'll pick up a lunge whip or an arm extension of some sort. Notice how I keep stepping out of the lines that are on the ground. Because if Eve were to get spooked, I wouldn't want these lines. Step up. Wrapped around my ankles. Spiral in more. Being real light. Good. I'm going to spiral out. As I come around, I'm going to spiral out. I'm letting the lines slip through my hands. You can see how slack they are. I'll wiggle to show I want out. Constant surveillance of where are these long lines, especially where are they on the ground. Good. Now she's coming in a little bit too much with her shoulder, so a little bit of a give and take with my left hand. Go back out. Good, Eve. Steady. Woo. Woo. A little bit more tautness on the lines. Make her understand that she wants to stop on the circumference. And now what we're going to do, because we've been practicing it and we'd be proud to show you, is take Eve back to the arena and get a little more speed in backing her through the corridor. Here we are in the arena with Eve, and we're working her in the corridor that we created for the back exercise. Brianna's going to tell you what she's been doing and how she feels about Eve's progress in backing, especially with a little bit more speed. Brianna?
Eve's doing really well. She's responding to the crop being rhythmically tapped on her shoulder. She's also responding just to the verbal cue back. If she doesn't back when I give her the verbal cue, I do the rhythmic tapping with the wand still, but she's much improved since the last show.
Okay,
much better speed.
Let's show. Let's demonstrate. We'll be proud to show how practice makes perfect.
Back, 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 back.
That's a nice straight back. Now head her forward again and do it again. Try to get a little bit more speed.
That was a lot slower than she's been doing. She's been going faster. Maybe she's camera shy.
Okay, Brianna said without the camera on, she was going much faster. Let's see if we can get it.
Back, 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 back.
Okay, one more time, come forward. And this time give her a little bit more slack in the lead line.
Oh. Back, 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 back.
Much better.
And at that point, I didn't even, I touched her maybe 2 or 3 times with the crop. Most of it was all my verbal
Okay.
to go back.
Brianna saying that touching wasn't necessary. Most of it was just the verbal request to back. B-A-A-C-K.
Our cast of characters: Sadie and Eve, Sammy, Rusty and Suzie, Heifer Calf Selah. For more information, www.cowgirlchannel.com.